The night was quiet, the kind of silence that makes every sound sharper, every thought louder. I had invited my friend over, just as I had done many times before, but something about this night felt different. Maybe it was the way the day had dragged on, heavy with unspoken words and restless energy. Maybe it was because deep down, I already knew what I wanted, even if I had never dared to say it out loud. That he was sitting across from me on the edge of the bed, scrolling absently on his phone, his face lit by the pale glow of the screen. I watched him, pretending not to, my heart thudding harder than it should for something so ordinary. He was my closest friend, someone I trusted more than anyone, yet I carried a secret, one that pressed against my chest every time we were alone. I liked him. More than I should. More than I could ever admit. For months, I had lived with this quiet longing. Every casual touch, every laugh we shared, every time our shoulders brushed in passing, it all meant more to me than it ever could to him. At least, that's what I told myself. But I couldn't help noticing the moments when his eyes lingered too long, or when his voice dropped softer than necessary. Maybe I was imagining it, or maybe he felt the same way but was just as afraid to say it. The room smelled faintly of cologne and the warmth of late-night air. I shifted closer, making it look casual, though inside I was anything but calm. My thoughts tangled. What if he pushes me away? What if I lose him? Yet another voice inside whispered, what if he doesn't? What if he's been waiting for this too? The weight of secrecy pressed heavier because neither of us was supposed to be here like this. He had someone he was loosely involved with, someone who trusted him. And I, though single, knew that crossing this line meant stepping into dangerous territory. It wasn't just about desire, it was about betrayal, temptation, and giving in to something that could never be spoken of outside these walls. Still, temptation has a way of drowning reason. Are you tired? I asked, my voice sounding casual though my throat felt tight. That he looked up, smirk tugging at his lips. A little. It's late, after all. Something in that smirk told me he wasn't ready to leave, and that single detail sparked courage in me. I shifted again, this time closer, so that our knees almost touched. The space between us felt electric, charged with everything unspoken. He noticed, I could tell, but he didn't move away. Instead, he set his phone down, as if to signal he was giving me his full attention now. The silence stretched, thick and heavy. I could feel the pounding of my heartbeat in my ears. Without overthinking, I reached out, placed my hand lightly on his wrist, and said softly, come with me. He raised an eyebrow, but he didn't resist. There was a flicker in his eyes, hesitation, curiosity, maybe even the same desire I had been carrying. My grip tightened just slightly, enough to make it clear this wasn't a joke, and I stood, gently pulling him with me. We crossed the room together, the floor creaking under our steps. My hand was still on his wrist, guiding him, claiming him in a way I never had before. Every inch of movement felt like crossing an invisible line, a boundary we could never retreat from once it was passed. When I pushed open the door to my room, he glanced around as though seeing it differently now. I led him in, closed the door behind us, and for a moment we simply stood there, staring at each other in the dim light. That I could feel the gravity of the moment pulling us both in. My chest rose and fell too quickly, my palms were clammy, yet my resolve didn't falter. All the nights of wanting, all the silent what-ifs, had finally brought us here. Inside, I was trembling with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Outside, I kept my expression calm, steady. He didn't say a word, and neither did I. We didn't need to. The door was shut. The world outside no longer mattered, and in that silence, I knew, this night was about to change everything. The morning light crept through the thin curtains, spilling across the room in soft golden streaks. I opened my eyes slowly, the weight of sleep still heavy, and for a brief second I forgot where I was, what had happened. But then I turned my head and saw him lying there beside me, his breathing calm, his hair messy, his body draped in the quiet aftermath of the night we had shared. My chest tightened. It wasn't just the beauty of the moment, it was the realization that it was real. Everything from last night, the stolen kisses, the touches, the whispered breaths, it had all happened. That I lay there, frozen between awe and fear. The warmth of his presence filled me with a strange kind of comfort, but with it came a sharp sting of guilt. The memory of his other life, his commitments, the trust of someone else waiting for him, cut through me like a blade. I knew what we did wasn't supposed to happen, yet I couldn't bring myself to regret it. That he stirred beside me, eyes fluttering open. For a second, his gaze softened as it met mine, and a smile touched his lips. It was small, tired, but real. "Morning," he whispered. That I managed a smile back. "Morning." The silence that followed wasn't the heavy kind of the night before, it was awkward, uncertain, filled with the weight of unspoken questions. He sat up slowly, running a hand through his hair, his expression hard to read. I wondered if he was already regretting it, if the reality of daylight had stripped away the courage the darkness had given us. "About last night," he began, his voice low, hesitant. That I swallowed, my throat dry. "Yeah." He paused, searching for the right words. Finally, he exhaled and shook his head. "It was unexpected." Unexpected. The word landed heavily, neither good nor bad, but full of distance. My chest ached, though I tried not to show it. "Do you regret it?" I asked quietly. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he glanced toward the window, as if the answer might be hiding in the streaks of sunlight. "I don't know," he admitted at last. "I shouldn't have, we shouldn't have. But I can't lie, I don't regret how it felt." His honesty cut me open and stitched me back together all at once. It wasn't love, he confessed, but it was truth, and that meant something. That I nodded, staring at the blanket tangled around us. "It can stay between us," I said. "No one has to know." "Yeah," he agreed, his voice firmer now. "No one can know." The finality in his tone was both a relief and a heartbreak. I understood it, we both did. What happened couldn't exist outside this room. It was too dangerous, too complicated. The world wouldn't forgive it, and neither would the people we owed loyalty to. He stood, gathering his things, avoiding my eyes as he dressed. I watched him quietly, memorizing every detail, every movement, as though I was afraid this would be the last time I'd see him like this. Before leaving, he paused at the door. His hand rested on the knob, his back to me. For a long moment, I thought he might say something more, something that would give me clarity. Instead, he turned slightly, his face unreadable. "I'll see you later," he said simply, and then he was gone. The door clicked shut, leaving me alone with the silence once again. Only this time, it wasn't charged with anticipation. It was heavy with memory, thick with the echo of everything we had done. I lay back down, staring at the ceiling, my mind spinning. That I should have felt ashamed, but I didn't. Instead, I felt conflicted, a mix of guilt and something dangerously close to happiness. For years, I had dreamed of being this close to him, and for one night, I had lived that dream. Even if it was wrong, even if it could never last, it was mine. All day, his absence pressed down on me. The scent of him lingered on my sheets, a reminder of his touch. Every little thing pulled me back to the night before, the look in his eyes when we kissed, the weight of his hand against mine, the way we surrendered completely. That I knew it would haunt me. I knew it might destroy me if I let it. But I also knew something else, something truer than all the guilt and secrecy. I had never felt so alive, so wanted, so real. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was destiny. Maybe it was both, but one thing was certain, no matter what happened next, no matter how many days or years passed, I would never forget last night. And deep down, I wasn't sure I wanted to.